Start. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Suresh, your Games Academy faculty for Biochemistry. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the FMG aspirants who have successfully attempted the exam on 20th January. Finally, you are done and dusted, so relax now and just wait for the results. So don't bother about the results. You have given all of your hard work and it will give you fruitfulness. And whatever the feedback from the students who have appeared for the exam, they said like first half was damn easy and the second half was bit tough, so don't worry. And before announcing the results, just whatever the questions students have posted on various social platforms, I just try to conduct a recall session on the biochemistry. So far whatever the sources what I am having and collecting the questions, almost 13 questions available. So just know the answers according to the questions. Let us start the session. So to begin with, the first question, they say like which of the following immunoglobulin, okay, they have asked, the question has been asked about immunoglobulins. It is like which immunoglobulin you can found in high concentrations in serum. So remember, there is only one immunoglobulin you can get in high concentrations in serum, that is IgG. Because I have yet to get the options, so I am not going with the options. So the correct answer is IgG. IgG immunoglobulin you can get abundant amounts in serum, right? And the second question to talk about, it's about inhibition. The question they have asked, non-competitive inhibition. What are the characteristic changes you can observe in non-competitive inhibition? So if you talk about inhibition, there are three types of inhibitions. One is competitive, non-competitive, uncompetitive. So in competitive inhibition, Kmax will increase, Km will increase, Vmax will be decreased. In case uncompetitive, there is Km value decrease and Vmax will be unaffected. And in case non-competitive, Km value will be unaffected and Vmax will be decreased. So if I draw a graph, see here, this is Km value, so which is unaltered, which is unchanged, whereas Vmax has been decreased, right? In non-competitive inhibition, Km value unaffected and Vmax will be decreased. This is Lee-Luber-Brook plot. And the third question, it is on vitamins. So xerophthalmia, because of which vitamin deficiency? Xerophthalmia, remember, xerophthalmia, ophthalmia, eye-related disorder. Which vitamin will cause eye-related deficiency or disorder? That is vitamin A. Night blindness you take, white out spots you take, keratomalacia you take, then xerophthalmia. So all eye-related disorders based on vitamin deficiency, that is vitamin A. And vitamin A has got three forms: retinal, retinol, retinoic acid. So out of all this, we have retinal, which is a aldehyde form, which is active form, which has got potential activity in the vision. Because rhodopsin, visual pigment, requires 11-cis retinal plus opsin. Here non-protein part is 11-cis retinal, right? So as vitamin A deficient, rhodopsin will not be resynthesized and the person will be having deficiency disorder, that is xerophthalmia, right? And next question, again it is again on vitamins, water soluble vitamin. Maize eaters has got which vitamin deficiency? Remember, maize having a deficiency, it's not having vitamin deficiency, but it is causing vitamin deficiency. It doesn't have any vitamins, maize. Maize is lacking some sort of amino acids, so it is leading to vitamin deficiency. So maize is deficient of which amino acid? That is tryptophan. So tryptophan is lacking, the amino acid tryptophan is lacking in maize. So that's the reason. And what is the relation? Vitamin deficiency tryptophan. So here 60 milligrams of tryptophan required to synthesize 1 mg of niacin, B3, 1 mg of niacin, right? So as tryptophan is not there, how come niacin will be synthesized? So that's the reason maize eaters will be having B3 deficiency and characteristic symptoms, especially pellagra, and pellagra is characterized by dermatitis, diarrhea and dementia. If untreated, leads to 4th, that is death. Coming to the next question, what process takes place only in cytoplasm? So we have already learned in the cell chapter, cell markers. If you see subcellular organelles inside the cell, each subcellular organelle will having its own characteristic pathways. Cytoplasm if you take, or else any pathway you are studying, the beginning point will be the location of the pathway. When you started studying glycolysis, if you see the location of pathway, the enzymes of the pathway placed in cytoplasm. Same way, Krebs cycle, electron transport chain. So it takes place in mitochondria, like glycogen synthesis, right? Glycogenolysis, it takes place in endosomes or endoplasmic reticulum. Galactose metabolism takes place in lysosomes, right? So each subcellular organelle is having its own characteristic pathway and concerned enzymes. So based on the options here, cytoplasm, that is glycolysis, if it is a thing, the option will be glycolysis. Glycolysis is the prominent pathway that takes place in cytoplasm. And if you talk about the next question, that is von Wricht's disease. So it is question based on glycogen storage disorders. There are 7 types of glycogen storage disorders are there: von Wricht's, Pompe's, Cory's, Anderson, McArdle, Torres, and then Hirsch disease. So out of all this, they have asked the question von Wricht's disease. So each glycogen storage disorder having its own enzyme deficiency. If you talk about von Wricht's disease, the enzyme deficient, that is glucose 6-phosphatase. Okay, the enzyme deficiency is glucose 6-phosphatase. Because of the deficiency of glucose 6-phosphatase, the person cannot able to synthesize free glucose, hence the person hypoglycemic, right? And I am not talking about in detail of other glycogen storage disorders. Pompe's disease, if you are talking about the enzyme deficiencies, acid maltase. If you talk about Cory's disease, C followed by D, so D branching enzyme. If you talk about Anderson disease, A followed by B, branching enzyme. And if you talk about McArdle disease, McArdle's, so M following M, so muscle glycogen phosphorylase. Torres disease, if you take phosphofructokinase. So all these enzyme deficiencies are there. So here the interested question, that is von Wricht's disease. And the next question is a case-based question. They have asked that during COVID, one IT guy with interest, he has taken large doses of multivitamin capsules. So, and he started having tingling sensation in the extremities. Remember. So what is the question here? The IT person, on his own knowledge, he started taking multivitamin capsules in large doses. So we are all aware, vitamin consumption. So when you started talking about fat soluble vitamins, we have already learned that they have hypervitaminosis. That means if these fat soluble vitamins in high concentrations, it causes side effects. But this is not true in case of water soluble vitamins. Exception is there, like B3 and B6. They are all causing hypervitaminosis. So here the excess consumption of which water soluble vitamin will give you tingling sensation in the extremities, like hands, palms, and then legs. So they are all the extremities, upper and lower extremities. So the tingling sensation is because of vitamin B6, the overdosage of vitamin B6. The overdosage of vitamin B6, pyridoxine. The active form of B6 is pyridoxal phosphate, which has major role in protein metabolism. Right, the correct answer out of those options, if B6 is there, this is the answer, B6. And other question related to protein metabolism, precursor for melanin. We have already learned that melanin is a specialized product coming from phenylalanine. So we already learned that phenylalanine gives rise to tyrosine. So whatever the specialized products of phenylalanine are the specialized products of tyrosine. So if they given the options phenylalanine and tyrosine, both are correct. I think that they have provided tyrosine. So if they mention tyrosine, tyrosine is the right answer. Along with melanin, from tyrosine you will get other like neurotransmitters, catecholamines you can get. Again you will get what to say, GABA, inhibiting neurotransmitter, DOPA, excited neurotransmitter. Sorry, not GABA, DOPA, dopamine, excited neurotransmitter you will be getting. Right. So that's all. And the next question they have asked, sickle cell anemia, what is a mutation? So sickle cell anemia because of point mutation. Point mutation. We already learned that hemoglobin structure, 2 alpha chains, 2 beta chains, right? There is a point mutation in beta chain, and here in beta chain, 6th position. Beta chain, 6th position. In place of glutamic acid, valine replaced. Okay, in place of, actually at 6th position of beta chain, glutamic acid is supposed to be placed, but because of the point mutation, glutamic acid replaced by valine. So that leads sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia is a classical example for point mutation. So collagen synthesis requires what? So collagen synthesis requires ascorbic acid, vitamin C. It is strong reducing in nature. At the same time, vitamin C helps in hydroxylation reactions. So collagen, to strengthen the collagen, lot of hydroxylation is supposed to take place. If you see the structure of collagen, glycine, lysine, proline. Every third amino acid is glycine. So lysine, proline are there. As such, they are not active. So they are supposed to be hydroxylated. And for this hydroxylation reaction, you require vitamin C. Remember, vitamin C helps in collagen synthesis involving in hydroxylation of proline and lysine, because the most abundant amino acids in collagen being protein, lysine, proline, glycine. So for hydroxylation reactions you require vitamin C. And there is a question also asked related to cytochrome P450. I don't know the options. Cytochrome P450 involved in detoxification reactions. It doesn't have any role in electron transport chain. Remember, electron transport chain, the forms of cytochromes involved that are like cytochrome A, B, C. Okay, and cytochrome P450 has got potential role in detoxification, right? And the last question today's recall session, that is like what is the effect of insulin on the person on high protein diet? If the person is having high protein diet, he is having excess amounts of amino acids, and how he is not hypoglycemic? Because we are all aware that insulin is hypoglycemic. Whenever there is an increase in blood glucose levels, it brings down your glucose levels, so that it will be hypoglycemic. Here the person is not consuming a carbohydrate diet, but he is on high protein diet, but still he is not hypoglycemic. Why? Why? Because insulin doesn't have any role here. Okay, so what is the effect of insulin? Insulin being hypoglycemic, it involved in diverting glucogenic amino acids for gluconeogenesis. Understand? That is only the thing. Insulin here, it is having catabolic effect. At the same time, it diverts some of the amino acids towards gluconeogenesis. Okay, so that is the thing, because the products in case of like anaerobic glycolysis, lactate pyruvate, here the thing is there is no anaerobic, but the content is amino acids. So excess of amino acids will be diverted for gluconeogenesis, which is preventing hypoglycemia. So that's all about the questions what I have got from across the social platforms. So still, if anybody is having any questions, please post below the video. So I'll try to answer them. So thanks for watching. Thank you.